You are listening to Crime Unraveled, a Buck Taylor novel by Chuck Morgan.
Chapter 36. Buck woke up to a ringing in his ears and rubbed the sleep out of his eyes. Not that there was much there. He hadn't slept that long, and it took him a while to fall asleep. He should have laid the back seat down and crawled into his sleeping bag, but he was too tired, so he tilted back the passenger seat and closed his eyes. Now he was stiff. He reached for the phone on the center console and noticed it was still dark outside. He answered the phone. "Taylor." "Buck, it's George. Hope I didn't wake you." "No, you're good. What's got you up so early, George?" "Haven't been to bed yet," said George. "A group hit the internet and took responsibility for the bombing in the canyon. It's all over the net." Buck was now wide awake. "Who are they, and what do we know about them?" "That's why Mel and I have been up all night. Prior to this evening, when their first post hit the internet, we'd never heard of these guys. They claim to be called the Earth Survival Federation, but they don't exist anywhere before tonight." "Can you backtrack their IP thingy and see who made the post?" asked Buck. George laughed. Buck was definitely a tech dinosaur. "That's what we've been doing." The guy thought he was smart. He routed through servers in Europe, Asia, and then off into the Pacific Islands, but we finally got him. The poster's name is Peter Welker, and we traced him to an IP address in Denver. "What do we know about him?" asked Buck. "He owns a small IT company. The odd thing is, he lives in an expensive part of Denver. The Old Money Country Club section. He has no mortgage and no debts that we can find." "Why's that odd?" asked Buck. "Because according to last year's tax filing, he paid taxes on business income of less than $60K. Lifestyle and income don't jive." "Family money?" asked Buck. Mel's going deeper into his background. "George, is there a link between this guy, Welker, and the Earth Survival Federation?" "Nothing, but he did a good job creating the organization. It even included pictures of other eco-bombings they said they were responsible for, and an entire manifesto on using violence to save the planet. Many of the bombings we know for certain were not committed by them. I uploaded it to the investigation file in case you get bored and can't sleep. The pictures were pulled off the internet, and the manifesto was probably AI created. What the hell was this guy's game? Why go through all that trouble to create a fictitious eco-terrorist group? Did he make any demands?" "No demands that we could find. We'll probably discover he's some bored rich guy living in his mother's basement." Mel came on the line. "Hey Buck." He put up another post. This time, he's demanding $10 million and the release of Rodney Tubin. He's threatening to blow up a bridge this time. "Nothing in the demand about wanting any eco-related items, just the release of Tubin?" asked Buck. He looked at his watch. It was too early to call the prosecutor. He needed to see if she had made any progress with Rodney Tubin and his new public defender. "Yeah, pretty strange," said George. "Mel, wake up a judge, get a warrant, and then call Denver PD and ask them to raid this guy's address." "Will do, Buck." "Hey George. Could you do me a favor? Go into the Denver tax rolls and see who owns the property." "Okay, Buck. Hold on for a minute." Buck raised the passenger seat and looked at the clock on the entertainment system. He had gotten a full 2.5 hours of sleep. The open sign in the restaurant window came on, and Buck realized he was hungry. The restaurant was closed by the time he got to it last night or early this morning, so he hadn't eaten since breakfast yesterday. George came back on the line. "Track the owner through a bunch of corporations. Looks like the owner is a corporate entity called CMV Trust Incorporated. We'll need a warrant to get into the financials." "Okay, George. Ask Mel to call me when the raid is set up with Denver SWAT." Buck disconnected the call, slid out of his Jeep and buttoned his Carhartt ranch jacket. There was a light dusting of snow on the Jeep. He walked to the restaurant, pushed open the door and listened to the little bell above the door ring. He stepped inside and slid into the first booth. He faced the door. The waitress, a stern-looking woman with gray hair and a tight bun and a name tag on her white blouse that read Pam, walked up to the table. "You sleep in the lot last night?" "Was gonna call the cops," she said. Buck slid his badge off his belt and laid it on the table. Pam looked at the badge and almost smiled. "Can't be too careful. What'll you have?" Buck ordered a large glass of Coke and the scrambled egg platter with bacon, sausage, home fries and a side of French toast. Pam left to put in his order and returned a minute later with his Coke. He looked out the window and noticed it was lighter than when he'd walked in. He checked his watch. It was still too early to start making calls. The platter landed in front of him, and he thanked Pam and dug in. Several people walked in and took seats. They looked like miners or ranchers. He ignored them and ate his fill. Pam seemed to know their names, so they were local. Buck had just finished his meal and sat back to enjoy the feeling of not being hungry when his phone rang. He looked at the number. "Hey Max. What's got you up so early?" "Buck Taylor, how's my favorite cop?" said Max Clinton. "Didn't wake you, did I?" "No, Max. You're good." "Excellent. I wanted to get you the ballistics reports as soon as they hit my desk. The team worked all night, so here it is, hot off the press. The pistol found near Ramon Velasquez was a match for the slug taken out of Heinrich's side. The slug in Heinrich's thigh, the two in his chest and the one in his head did not come from that gun, but they were all a match. They were also a match for all the wounds at the demolition company. Even though the pistol that was found on Heinrich hadn't been fired, we ran a check on it as well. We got a match for 2 unsolved murders in Garfield County from 5 years back, and it was a match for the bullet removed from the body of Timothy Woodman. I'll upload the shooting files for those victims. So it looks like Heinrich was a busy man, and you've got a third shooter." "Thanks, Max. Tell the team the next time I'm in the Front Range, dinner is on me." "You got it, Buck. You're a good man, Buck Taylor. God will watch over you." Buck disconnected the call and had just decided he needed to make some calls, too early or not, when his phone chimed. "Mel." "Hey, Buck. The judge faxed the warrant to Denver PD, and SWAT is rolling." "Thanks, Mel. Great job." Buck disconnected and dialed the director. "Mornin', Buck. Sir, I need you to wake up a few people." He gave the director a short summation of the past couple of hours. "Can you have one of our folks hook up with Denver SWAT? I just texted you the address, and we'll need forensics and a cyber team there as well." "No worries, Buck. I'll call you from the residence." Buck left money on the table, finished his Coke and headed to his Jeep. The evening clouds were breaking up, and it looked like it was going to be a nice day. He slid into his Jeep and headed back to the demolition company.
Thank you for listening to this chapter of Crime Unraveled, a Buck Taylor novel by Chuck Morgan. You can find the entire crime series as well as other novels by Chuck Morgan at chuckmorganbooks.com or on Amazon.